Hello, I'm Chet Albin. I'm here to talk today about the career I've chosen, robotics engineer. As a robotics engineer, you get to work with many different robots, and you can also, build them to do many different things, like this one I'm about today. This robot can solve a maze. It may not look like much, but it can do quite a lot. The career choices I have chosen aerospace engineer and then a fuel cell engineer. As an aerospace engineer, I would get to work with robots and machinery that would be sent off in space, but also I would get to work on advanced weaponry. As a fuel cell engineer, I would get to work with things that involved energy and just very different chemicals. But I chose to be a robotics engineer because I get to work with robots, and I find that something the opportunity cost I had, I could be an aerospace engineer because I wanted to be a robotics engineer, but I can still work as a robotics engineer, I can still work in the lines of work as a fuel cell and a aerospace engineer. Pros of being a robotics engineer. As a robotics engineer, you have many different pros. The first pro is that I get very many opportunities to be very creative in my lines of work and express my thought. My second pro that I have is I get to work in many different lines of work and industries across the world. The last opportunity cost that I get to build robots and work with robots, which I find a pro in itself. However, you can't have the good. There's a picture of one of the robots that we worked on. You can't have the good without the bad. Like a con of being a robotics engineer is there is very, very strict standards and rules you have to obey. Another con is there are very, very long days and long hours you'll have to work through. And another con is you need a graduated education, which means I need to graduate high school and college and then work as a robotics engineer. My annual salary is, every year I earn $50,000, and my monthly budget is $4,166.67. My estimated amount for my budget for my house was really close to the actual amount because I had $500 for that, but it's really just $475. Both my mom and me were very off for my rental insurance because we thought it would be around 120, around 200, but it was just 15, which is very good. I knew my car payment would be a lot, but I didn't know how much, but I went over. I knew that taxes would be something that would eat up a lot of my money, but I had no idea that it would be that much, if you see. I don't have to pay a medical insurance because the job I have covers it. The food price I have is a very good price because I get to spend $12 every day. And my discretion is basically just, things that are not really needed but very, very nice to have and own. Here's a picture of one of the robots I'm at work. This is my monthly budget pie chart. As you can see, taxes take up a whole fourth of mine, and then it's discretion that take up the most, and housing with 15%, and then transportation at 14%, and then food at 9%, and student loans at 9%, and utilities at 8%, and toiletries at 1%. And toiletries are things like shampoo, water, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, that sort of thing. These are the trade-offs I had. I gave myself a lot more savings by not owning a pet. Another trade-off that I gave myself is I gave myself a whole lot more entertainment by not giving myself as much food, but I still have a decent amount. I also gave the last trade-off I gave myself more miscellaneous by not having as much for appliance and furniture. This is my resume. The resume is what I will send to a company. In this case, it's A&E Automated in Lawrence, Kansas. It'll say of my experiences I've had, what college I went to, what degree I got, and references and the rewards I've gotten. I'll need a bachelor's in medical engineering, and I'll be there for 4 years. My experience I will have at that point, I will have worked for NASA and did robotics competitions in high school. This is my letter of application I have. This letter of application will be sent to the head of the company, Scribe Anderson of A&E Automated. I will say how I found it and the way I found it. I found it in their recent goal line they had and strict rules you follow. What I'll do there, I'll work on the robotics arms they use to build the cars and also repair them. These are the websites I used. I used learning.org, learningpath.org, careerstateuniversity.com, study.com, and seneca.com. These are the 2 articles I used. The first one is the one I used to find how robotics engineering is done, why it's so important, and what it really does to the world. And the second one is how robotics engineering, how you earn the degrees, how you work for it, and yeah. The last thing I have to say before I truly go, that robotics engineering may seem somewhat dull to some of you or somewhat amazing, but robotics engineering will advance the way we live modern life today. For this robot you see may not look that unique or that much right now, but what it is, it's a soldier bot that's going to be used in some of the next wars we have.